Not every child born in the Highlands was meant to live, but one has defied fate, defied blood, and now threatens to defy every clan in Scotland. The winds of the Highlands do not forget. Even when lies are buried and love is forced into silence, the earth remembers every seed of truth planted in secret. And now, after years of calm, the hills are whispering once more, carrying the rumor of a child whose existence could shatter peace and reignite a storm the clans have long feared. Her name is Lorna, or rather, that is the name she was given. A quiet girl, raised on the outskirts of the Grant lands, with eyes that reflect the sky before a storm and a presence that unsettles even the most hardened parents. She was always different, they said. Curious, too clever for her own good. But none of them ever suspected the truth that wrapped her life like the mist around the moors. She was not born to the Grants, she was smuggled into their arms under a blood moon. Years ago, when love dared cross the boundaries of clan and honor, a choice was made. Brian Fraser, the young heir to the Fraser name, had fallen in love with Eileen Mackenzie, a woman born from a line that should have stood against him. Their love was reckless, dangerous, and from that love came a child who could never be accepted by either clan. So they hid her. They tucked her into the warm walls of Castle Grant with a new family, a new story, and a promise that no one would ever learn the truth. But promises made in desperation rarely survive the years. Those who once ignored the Grants now watched them with quiet suspicion. The Mackenzies, ever hungry for power, looked to use the child as a weapon. The Frasers, torn between honor and protection, fear the past unraveling before their eyes. And Brian, once a bold rebel of love, now walks with the burden of every choice he made, every lie he told, every heartbeat he gave up for the girl he could never call his own. The truth, like the first drop of rain, begins in silence. A letter, a rumor, a whisper among the heather fields. The child is not who she seems. She bears Fraser blood. She was adopted under the cloak of midnight. Slowly, whispers turn to chatter, chatter turns to talk, talk turns to threat. Suddenly, Lorna, who has lived her life in the quiet shadows of truth, finds herself thrust into the harsh light of legacy she never asked for. Eileen, now the wife of Malcolm Grant and mother only in shame, watches the storm gather through her chamber window. She knows what the clans are capable of. She knows how they feed on fear. And she knows, more than anyone, that once the truth rips through the Highlands, no one will be spared, not even the innocent. So she sends a message of her own to the only man who can stop the storm or be consumed by it. Brian, they know. He reads it in silence. There is no name, no warmth, no love in the lines. Only truth. A truth that has never stopped haunting him. A truth born from a forbidden night under the heather stars. A truth that now stands on the brink of being revealed to every eye in the Highlands. Lorna is no longer just a secret. She is the spark in a field of dry grass, waiting for a single flame to rise into wildfire. And as silence fills the Fraser stronghold, Brian realizes what he has always feared has finally arrived. The past is no longer buried. The adoption has been revealed. The child is now the battlefield. And the Highlands, they are holding their breath. The morning after the whispers began, the Highlands felt different. The air was colder, the land quieter, as if every stone and stream waited for the truth to finally surface. News of Lorna's true bloodline hadn't just spread, it had grown into something fierce, twisting through every village, every hearth, every memory that once held peace. Even those who once believed in unity now felt the ground shift beneath them. There was no turning back. At Castle Grant, eyes no longer saw Lorna as just a girl. She was a question, a threat, a symbol of betrayal. Malcolm Grant, once proud and bound by honor, now walked the halls with suspicion etched in every line of his face. The child he had raised, the one he once believed had brought new life and hope, was now revealed to be the living echo of his wife's past lies. Every step he took was fueled by the weight of humiliation. Every breath heavy with the doubt of a man whose home has been infiltrated not by a stranger, but by the blood of an enemy. The Mackenzies moved swiftly. Colin Mackenzie, master of strategy, sent word to every corner of the Highland lands. This adoption, he declared, was not a tale of love or protection. It was treachery, a deception woven to undermine clan honor, to taint bloodlines, and to weaken their grip on Scotland. His brother, Dual, fueled by more fire than words, urged them to march, to seize the child and return her to where she belonged, or burn the lie at its root. But Brian Fraser, who had remained silent for so long, could feel the walls tightening. He had no more time to bury the truth. The murmurs of the clans had turned into drums of war. The young man who once dreamed of peace through love now faced a decision no father should ever make. Protect his child and damn the Highlands to chaos, or stay silent and let her be swallowed by the wrath of a world she never understood. He stood by the Fraser hearth that night, staring into the flames, haunted by the ghost of his own father, whose last words were a warning. Blood remembers son, but it also demands. It demands loyalty, truth, and sacrifice. The words echoed through him like the howl of the wind outside. He could no longer run from his own legacy. Meanwhile, Eileen sat in silence, the candlelight flickering against her tear-streaked face. Her life, once filled with the soft hope of secret love, had become a labyrinth of thorns. Every choice she made was now threatening to destroy her husband, her family, her clan. She still wore the ring Malcolm had given her, but her heart belonged to another, to Brian, and to the child they brought into a world that would never accept her. In the shadows of the castle corridors, Lorna herself began to sense the change. She saw it in the way the servants avoided her gaze. She felt it in the way silence filled every room she entered. Even the girl who once braided her hair now looked at her with fear, as though a curse clung to her skin. But Lorna did not cry. She did not beg for answers. Instead, she walked to the edge of the estate walls and stared out toward the Highlands, toward the unknown, toward the truth. She didn't yet know the full weight of the blood that flowed through her veins, but she could feel it now, the pull of something ancient, the strength of someone who came before her, the call of a legacy she never asked for, but one she would soon have to carry or avenge. As the moon rose over the Highlands, the clans began to choose sides. Old alliances fractured. New oaths were whispered in the dark. The adoption issue was no longer a secret hidden in letters and glances. It was a storm, a reckoning, and in the center of it all stood one girl, wrapped in blood and truth. The truth, once buried under layers of silence, starts to unravel like loose threads in a tapestry, and with it comes danger no one saw coming. William, unaware of the storm that his true identity would awaken, now faces whispers and judgments he has no power to stop. The once proud boy, raised in nobility, now stands between two worlds, neither fully embraced by the blood he was born from, nor the name he was given. The clan watches him with wide eyes and heavy hearts, knowing that his very existence threatens the fragile unity they've built. Lord John Grey, William's adoptive father, feels the walls closing in. His love for William is unshakable, yet the lies he once told to protect him have now become his chains. He carries a burden that only a father could bear, the fear of losing his son's trust. He must decide, does he reveal the truth himself before it destroys them both, or hold on to the lie in one last desperate attempt to save what remains of their bond? Meanwhile, Jamie Fraser faces a war inside his own heart. Each moment spent carrying this secret has aged him with guilt. His son, living in front of him, unable to call him father, it was a punishment he accepted long ago. But now, this truth is no longer his to protect. It belongs to William, and to all who were denied the honesty they deserved. Yet, revealing it now could not only destroy the boy's world, it could spark a new feud, one that would pit clans, families, even countries against each other. As tensions grow, Claire sees a new side of the story no one else can see. A healer not only of bodies, but of wounds no salve can soothe. She knows that the coming storm won't just test the strength of the clan. It will test the bonds of love, loyalty, and the meaning of family. And just as she prepares to support Jamie through this chaos, another voice rises from the past. A voice thought gone forever. A voice that speaks of more than just bloodlines, but something much darker, something older, and something coming. Then a message arrives, a summons from a source no one expected. It speaks of an adoption that never should have happened, and of a prophecy tied to the blood of both father and son. The truth behind William's identity is just the beginning. For what's coming is not just a family secret, but a legacy that could alter the future of the clans forever. Now, one question hangs in the air. Will the truth unite them or tear them apart for good? The clans gather under the darkening sky, as tension rises like mist over the Highlands. Eyes shift, voices lower, and every spoken word carries the weight of centuries. Rumors swirl like wildfire after the message of the forbidden adoption is revealed. The clans begin to question not only William's birthright, but the motives of everyone involved. Lines are drawn, those for the truth, and those still clinging to lies. In their chambers, Jamie and Claire stand face to face, caught in an emotional battle. For Jamie, revealing William as his son means exposing his own failings as a father. For Claire, it means breaking the heart of a boy who's done nothing but live the life given to him. Sometimes the truth can bleed more than any wound, Claire whispers, knowing that the right choice isn't always the kindest. Across the land, word reaches old enemies, some thought dead, others waiting in the shadows. A whisper travels through the wind. The prophecy of the child of two worlds is awakening. A child born of two lines, raised under false names, destined to either unite the clans or destroy them entirely. What seemed like a simple adoption now reveals itself as part of something much larger, a hidden legacy. Lord John Grey, ever composed, begins to unravel under the truth he buried. His love for William is real, but so is the fear of losing him. He writes a letter, one that could change everything, yet burns it before the ink even dries. Some truths, he decides, are too dangerous to survive on paper. Yet fate, as he will soon learn, has never cared for quiet secrets. William, slowly piecing together the fragments, begins to feel something strange inside, a sense that the world he knew is only a fraction of the one he's meant to inherit. Dreams haunt him, visions of a red-haired man in battle, a woman with healing hands, and a voice calling him by a name he's never heard, yet feels like a part of himself. The episode edges toward its climax as a new figure arrives at Lallybroch, a rider cloaked and carrying not just a message, but a threat. Someone knows the truth, and worse, they're ready to use it. Now, everything hangs on the brink. With William's identity exposed, alliances will be tested, loyalties divided, and the past, once buried, will claw its way into the light. What began as a story of hidden lineage now turns into a battle for the soul of the Highlands. And just when the storm seems ready to break, another life-altering secret is revealed. One that not even Jamie, not even Claire could see coming.